With that, we kick off our next book read in the Leader Renew Lean In Circle. We are a group of women who enjoy doing stuff together, and this year we've been reading several books. And these are volunteers from within the community who choose to present the books. And today, Asavri is here with us to present the book, Who Moved My Cheese? Before we get to Who Moved My Cheese, a couple of announcements. We are in the Thanksgiving month and hoping for a lot of giveaways. One big thing we are trying to do, Asabri, if you could move to the next slide, please, is our Spot 50 awards. What are these Spot 50 awards? You get to avail a 50% discount on all the upcoming programs if you register during the workshop and up to 15 minutes after the workshop. A quick announcement about which workshops we are currently hosting and running. Yeah, there are two of them. The first one is a storytelling workshop, and we all know how important storytelling is. The storytelling workshop starts later in November and goes on till it is spread across 3 days. It is 5,000 rupees, but of course, if you use the Spot 50 as your promo code as you're registering, it comes to you at 50% of the cost. Once you click the link in the chat, you'll be able to see all the description of the program. Asabri, we are able to see your entire screen. Yeah. Yeah, with that, we move on to the next. The screen share has also gone. We can't even see the pack now. The next program that we are announcing is the Leadership Archetype, which is about understanding your leadership preferred style and being able to flex it to your best suited need. I'll share the links again in the chat. And again, if you use our code SPOT50, you are able to avail a 50% discount. With that, we are all ready to move into our book read. Asavri, over to you. You can start, Asavri.
Just allow me a couple of seconds because clearly the book that we are reading now or that we have read is also testing us to see if we are adapting to change or not. So please allow me a minute. Thank you for the confirmation, ma'am. A very warm good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's Leader in You. Before we move on, may I have a quick show of hands as to how many of us here have read the book Who Moved My Cheese? And it would be great if you could turn on your video and then speak. Okay, ma'am, Shanti ma'am has read the book. Who else? If I include myself, I can make that count too. But no worries there. It's a very easy read, a bite-sized read, and the book, I realized it while reading the book that the book speaks to you. It is very vibrant, it is very energetic, and today we'll go through this book, and I'm sure that even though you have not read the book, it will be very easy for you to understand and consume it. So shall we let the show begin? Okay. So this is a story about 4 characters named Sniff, Scurry, and 2 little people named Hem and Haw. Now, every morning, all 4 of these characters would go out, run around in the maze, looking for just one thing. And that was, any guesses there? For those who have not read the book, any guesses there? I know the temptation. That one thing was cheese. And cheese here was not just physical cheese. It was that one thing that made Sniff, Scurry, Haw, and Hem happy. It made them feel secure. It made them feel nourished. And please note here that the author in this book has used the cheese as a metaphor to signify all those things in life which we think will make us happy. Now, this could include a job, relationship, money, a big house, freedom, health, recognition, spiritual peace, or even simple activities like jogging or playing golf. One day, after a long search, Sniffs, Scurry, Hem, and Haw finally discovered a huge supply of cheese at Cheese Station C. The sight, the smell of cheese delighted them. And there was a huge variety, and every one of them found the kind of cheese that they liked, that they loved. And now, as a matter of routine, every day, all four of them would get out of their house, go to Cheese Station C, sit back, and enjoy their favorite cheese. And this process went on for a while until one day something changed. The stock of cheese at Cheese Station C was over. The place that they had been coming to for so many days suddenly had no cheese to offer them. Now, what is interesting here that the situation of the absence of cheese was the same for everybody, but it evoked a different response in all of them. Now, the mice sniff and scurry, without being shocked, without batting an eyelid, immediately went out in the maze to look for another cheese station. And on the other hand, the little people hem and haw, they were completely taken aback by this reality. They were so shocked that for several days had passed, yet they could not bring themselves to go out in the maze and look for cheese again. At this point, I would like to ask all of you, what do you think evoked this difference in response in mice and little people? As in, what do you think they did differently? What did they think differently? That to the same situation, here we have Sniff and Scurry, who were immediately able to take action, but Hem and Haw just couldn't get themselves to do what was better for them. Take a while, think. Yes, Surya, do you want to say something? Okay, I'll have to now have to go by who's appearing on my screen first, and then yes, Shanti, ma'am, what do you think, in your opinion, led to this difference?
Expectations. Probably they never expected uh, that cheese would get over it. The suddenness of the change. Suddenly it was there till my last bite, and then now worry about what they're going.
Next on my screen is Smriti.
So, like daily, they used to go to the stations for the cheese, and one day it got over. So, that expectation of having cheese and then getting it, like not getting the second day, is like they are not expecting that one day it will get over, then what they will do with different situation. So, might be the difference between that. Now, what will happen, how to react. So, this is the change.
So you're saying that Hem and Haw would have not expected the cheese to ever get over.
Yeah, not about him and how, but
Mhm.
the mice also.
Okay, can you explain how?
So like they didn't thought like it will get like get over. It is like they thought like it's like time. No boundary is there. It will be there for all the time. So when it happened, so might be there's something different in behavior or like the mindset or like the expectation.
So what is that difference in the mindset?
So
We
how to react? What
Yes.
will happen next if it is not there?
So we know what happened next. The two mice they've left and immediately started looking for cheese, but the two little people stayed back. So we know how they have reacted. What we're trying to understand, why has there been a difference in this reaction? Some there's a certain set of people who are so scared that they're not able to move out, whereas whereas the mice, they're immediately able to take action.
So in this case, the mice are more like adapt, like they are like they have the ability to react when there is a change. But when it comes to him and her, they are not ready to accept that one.
Thank you, Smriti. Next up on my screen is Sam.
Yeah, I also feel maybe the mice is more strategic and proactive in thought process, and the other two are more used to the comfort and just going with the flow.
Great answer. Thank you.
Just like me.
So, Sam, are you scuff and scurry or hem and haw? Which one are you?
Going with the flow kind of a person.
Sam and Ho then.
Yeah.
And see the coincidence. It's Sam is also three letters and Hem and Ho are also three letter.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ajish, what do you think?
Um, Ma'am, when the situation was not what was expected, um, the two people, when there is a problem, we the two people, they focus on the problem, they didn't take action. But the other two people, when they didn't get what they expected, they were persistent in trying other means to get it, ma'am. That's what I'm thinking.
And what do you think Hem and Haw were thinking and doing? So mice, we know they were persistent. But what about Hem and Haw? What does it show about their attitude, their mindset?
They are not no, ready to adapt, to accept that, and move forward. They didn't not thinking how to move forward.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your response. And whatever you have said does cover the reasons behind them acting differently, which is there was for Hem and Haw, there was unwillingness to move out of their comfort zone. They were too secure at Cheese Station C. Whereas, whereas Sniff and Scurry were ready to go out in the maze and find some cheese again. Then a lot of us also spoke about expectation, suddenness of change, adaptability. Now that shows a difference in how they viewed change itself. For Sniff and Scurry, probably change was something that was natural, whereas Hem and Haw's reactions show that they feared that change. And in the story, it's also said that there was, over the period of time when they had found Cheese Station C, Sniff and Scurry were still alert, still agile, still proactive. They were not complacent. They would open their shoes and they would tie it around their neck so that just in case if they have to move out, they were immediately able to do that. But Hem and Haw had started becoming very comfortable. They would lavishly enter the cheese station, then remove their shoes, wear their slippers, keep that aside, and they made it their home. So we see how the difference in their attitude, in their thought process, brought about a change in the way they reacted. Their whole idea towards success, it made them complacent. They failed to see the reality of life, which is change is the only constant. Now, moving back to the story, several days passed, and Scurry and Sniff, after all trial and error and after running around the maze for days together, finally arrived at a new cheese station called Cheese Station N. And they were delighted and marveled at the sight of the variety of cheese that they saw. And they had never seen such a big cheese station in their lives ever. Meanwhile, Hem and Haw, they were still at Cheese Station C and they were still brooding and fretting over the fact that there is no cheese available at that station. And Hem, if we talk about Hem particularly, he was just not willing to step out. He was paralyzed by fear. He was crippled with fear. He was scared. He was resisting change. And he even made statements like, I don't think so I'll ever like new cheese. It's not what I'm used to. I need my own cheese. I need the cheese that I have been eating all along. He said he was scared of getting lost and getting old. He was even conscious of making a fool of himself. And so much so that there were times when Haw actually wanted to move out in the maze again, but Hem's fear rubbed off on him also. And both of them together were fearful and anxious, growing old and hungry, but just not willing to leave the station. And one fine day, Hem, in all his anxiousness and restlessness, screamed, "Who moved my cheese?" And this, it was almost to say, who is that person? Who is the external factor who has brought this inconvenience in my life? How could this happen to me? Who took away what I deserved? Why did change happen? How could things change? It shouldn't have. And while he was dealing with all of it, one fine day, Haw decided to step out in the maze again. After all the thought loops, unease, and unrest that Haw had been through, there was just one question that completely changed the game for Haw, and it played a pivotal role in his decision to move out. Any guesses what that question could have been? What was that question that transformed his mindset, his thought process? That despite being crippled by fear for all these days, he was able to take the plunge to move out in the maze again.
Maybe he could not bear the hunger anymore. He had to do something about it. He had no choice left but.
He changed the company of the. He was with the person who was little more afraid. Once he moved away, he got little courage and was able to move ahead.
Any other guesses? Well, he did change the company that he had surrounded himself. But in this book, there are only 4 characters, so he did not have much of a choice. So the company that he changed was the company of his own thoughts, the kind of thoughts that he was having. And he just asked himself one question: what would I do if I was not afraid? I am anyway in a situation which is serving me no good. I am growing old, I am growing hungry, and there's nothing better that I am able to do about it. Would I still be acting the same way had I not been afraid? And the answer was no. And another tip for all of us to help us in our testing times, which is also mentioned in the book, is that he acknowledged his fear and then he laughed at himself. And that freed his mind, that made him light. And then he was able to move ahead. But mind you, once he stepped out in the maze again, the journey was not easy. There were moments of doubt, there were moments of disappointment. There were empty corridors, dark hallways, many wrong turns that he had taken. Many a times he came across stations that seemed to have cheese, but when he would enter, it had nothing to offer him. But despite all of that, he kept on moving ahead. He kept on taking all the turns in the maze. And there was certain realization that he had along the way that kept him going. But before we come to that realization that he had and find out if at all he was able to find another cheese station like Sniff and Scurry, for some time we are going to now shift the focus from these fictional characters to the real life characters sitting here right in this meeting. So are we ready to shift the focus on ourselves? Can now we unmute and respond to this question?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's great. So for the next couple of slides, I would encourage all of you to please have a paper and pen handy with you, because we are going to engage in some reflection. Do we have a paper and pen handy?
Yes.
Can I take that as a yes from everybody?
Yes.
Thank you. So here are a set of questions that we'll all answer right now. The first two questions are, which character do you relate to the most? Hem, haw, sniff, or scurry, and why? And do you quickly want me to just share the characteristics of each character?
Yeah, that would be great, Ashwani. I joined a little late.
Yes, I'll do that, Pratibha. So Hem and Haw are two mice in the story. Sorry, Sniff and Scurry are two mice in the story, and Hem and Haw are two little people. Now, there was a situation where they would often go to a particular cheese station to have cheese, but one fine day the cheese was over. And when that reality hit these four characters, all these characters responded differently. So, Sniff, he immediately sniffed, as his name suggests. He immediately went out in the maze, sniffed around for more cheese, and went around in the maze to look for more cheese. Scurry immediately came to action when that reality hit him. Haw, Haw was reluctant to move out in the maze again. He was crippled by fear, but eventually he did decide to move out in the maze because he realized probably the situation that lies ahead will be better than what he is currently in. So he let go of his fear, but that took him time. And Hem, on the other hand, so far in the story, he's still crippled by fear, completely paralyzed by it, and still at that old cheese station waiting for miraculously cheese to arrive. So this is a description about the four characters. And the second question is, what emotions did you feel when the cheese was moved in the story? For example, if I were to talk about myself, I find a mixture of these characters in different situations. For example, at work, I'd say I'm like Sniff or Scurry, always trying to figure out what is happening and immediately take action. But if I were to say talk about my fitness, I'd say I'd be hem and haw at cheese station. See, not the scared part, but the complacent aspect of it. If I were to talk about, say, my personal life or relationships, I'd say I'd be like haw. Because these are sensitive issues, you take time to address it, but eventually when you see the reality, you do decide to move on. And when I was reading the book and I realized that the cheese had moved, my immediate reaction was like, oh no, what are they going to do now? What happens next? And this as many situations as possible. You don't have to stick to just one particular event or situation. Feel free to express yourself.
As I'm writing, I'm realizing I used to be probably scurry, jumping into action immediately a couple of years ago. I am becoming more of a sniff before I take action. I think I have started taking that pause. Hem and haw is only personal stuff when you're really tired in the evening and you know you have to make food, but you'll still prefer to do a Zomato rather than make food. It's that complacency only sets in post 9:30, 10 p.m.
And what brought about that shift from being becoming a scurry to sniff?
Interesting question.
What learning did you have that you eventually evolved in that direction?
I think it's just too many things to handle, do, pay attention to. It didn't just feel right to be jumping at everything.
So does it have to do something with trying to be perfect and ensure that everything is in place all the time in all aspects of my life?
Could have been the previous version of thinking, like whether have been or not, that intent, I have to be perfect in all areas of my life. That may have been the intent when I used to jump around, but knowing that it's humanly impossible, I think sniffing comes in more easy that, okay, I'll do what I can and let go what I can't.
So you are better, you feel better off now. As
Yeah,
in more time to breathe, to
more
relax.
time to breathe. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that share. Anyone else? Otherwise, this time I'll have to start with the last person appearing on my screen and go in that order. Yes, Ajish, please.
Yes, ma'am. Like initially, I'll be when the cheese is not there, I'll be little fearful. I'll be now for 1 to 3 days. Then once I realize this is not going to work, I'll have to be in the action mode, ma'am, to find out. I have to change. Yes, ma'am. This is my.
So you are relating more to Haw.
Yeah, yeah.
And has this how have you felt in the process?
Um, I no, it will be an improved version when compared to the initial reaction. When 2 3 days, I'll improve myself and change myself, adapt to the reality.
So has the with time, with experience, has the process of adapting been a little easy for you? I mean, we are all humans and the immediate reaction can be to get scared. But do you feel better equipped to now handle
Yeah,
situations like those?
yeah, yeah.
Anyone else, please feel free to share. Is my slide still visible?
No.
Okay.
It's appearing black. It looks like you've shared. Yeah, now it.
You will stay with that because it's time to adapt to all the technical glitches that could happen today. The only way is to be calm about it. Yes, Pratipha, Sam, Smriti.
So I agree with you. I have all the character of him, her, Sneak and Scurry. So it based on my situation. So like for me, I am very practical and like I'm very straightforward. So I have a like fear like if I will be not perfect, if that work will not perfect, then what would I do? So that thing also comes to my mind. And also like sometimes I would be like confusing kind of fear that not being a perfect, which is a main character of him and her. So I am like a mix of all the characters in the story.
But do you think that different combinations or different characters come more to the fore in different aspects of your life or in different situations? Maybe you are a combination of certain characters in some situation, but a certain character in some other situation.
Yeah, in situation wise, I used to adapt the things. The character used to resemble like yeah, for this situation I may be him. For such certain situation, I am like Sneak and Scary. So for me, this is situation wise. I used to change.
Great. And how did you feel when in the story the cheese was moved?
So when as I have not read the book, but I what I heard from the beginning when I hear that the immediately like the cheese were like all went off. So for me it is like surprise and confused like what they would be doing after that. Like will they change or how it will be happen? What they are going to do after this?
Thank you, Smriti. Pradipha, Sam.
Yeah, I can go.
Yes, please.
My Okay, this is slightly different from the perspective that the folks have shared, Aswari, right? So what I have observed is even before, the cheese is going to get moved, right? I would get hints from the people around me that cheese is not going to be there in some time. And what I have observed with me is I completely ignore those hints until the cheese disappears one day, and then I'll be standing point blank. Oh my God, now situation is worse. Now let's figure out, how to move forward. So after, until that point of time, it's like even if I get him, for some reason my mind blocks me saying that things are going to be okay. Like, it'll be fine. Cheese is not going to get moved. But by the time cheese is moved, I think I get into the mode of probably scurry, immediately get into action, and by the time it's too late, even though I got all the things. So this has been my personal observation with me.
And how does it make you feel the whole process? Are you at ease or are you stressful?
Oh, stressful, hands down, right? Because by the time you know that cheese is moved, you basically do a retrospect on what had happened, right? You're like, oh my God, this person had already told me. This person has already told me. Like, I completely ignored it. So it sort of makes me upset, angry, stressed, that I could have handled the situation much better, but I waited for this long, or until the last minute. Um, this happens a lot in my work situation as well, but in my personal, family, like those sort of situations, I'm slightly more, what do you want to call, like, get to the action mode, more like scurry all the time. um I feel like my family is dependent on me, so I have to be ready all the time, to make sure that the engine runs smoothly. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that honest share, Pradipa. Sam, would you like to go ahead now?
Yeah, I feel I am a mix of all the four based on like which situation I am personally and professionally. But one thing that has been consistent is whether I foresee that cheese is going to be moved, or even when I have not done it, and when I have been in a complacent mode also, the stress, I mean, it's like what next, right? So that when I say stress, it's not like mental stress, it is more about thinking what to do next. So that overthinking comes in, kicks in for me.
Could you give some examples here?
Um, like say for an example, I think somebody already mentioned about the workout. Like I used to be quite regular when it comes to my fitness routine or regime, but thanks to Bangalore traffic and so on, I couldn't maintain that. I stopped, but I could not again become regular at it. So in my mind, I've been thinking about it that I have to do it, and it is important for me both for my physical as well as mental health. But then I'm not like taking an action, but I'm thinking what to do, which place can I go, and all those plans are working in the background, and I'm not just taking making a concurrent plan, and I would like every day keep postponing it. Okay, let me start from tomorrow. There have been literally days where I have kept my gym bag in my car boot, and and I like when I start from work, I say to myself, okay, let me go tomorrow and start from tomorrow. So, the action plan is there, but I'm not acting upon it. So I think that overthinking gets me sometimes. So it's just that moving from just not plan, I mean, from planning to the plan.
I think a lot of us are like that because the outcomes are not visible immediately. We tend to become complacent. Okay, we'll see when it happens. What's the worst that can go wrong? Right now, everything is fine, right? So, how can something wrong happen to me? Yeah, thank you, everybody, for that share. But there's going to be more questions and more sharing. And from these set of questions, it would be really nice if we have volunteers speaking up instead of having to alphabetically or going by the people visible on my screen, then ask you the questions and then answer it. Are we all ready for that? To now volunteer and answer?
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam. So the next set of questions is already visible on your screen. How do you usually react when something familiar, when your cheese changes unexpectedly? And can you recall a recent situation where your cheese moved and how did you respond? And please remember here, when I say cheese, for all of you who joined the meeting a little late, cheese in the story has been used as a metaphor by the author to signify all those things which we think make us happy. So it could be a job for somebody, it could be a relationship for somebody, money, health, freedom, whatever it is. It's unique to everybody and it's not just always related to one thing, it could be different aspects of your life.
I can talk about the biggest cheese move in my life, 2018, when there was me and my team were made redundant in my organization. It was something that was absolutely unexpected. In fact, it was the other way around that we were hoping. Our leaders had come over from Australia and, we had made some presentations. We thought it went very well. And they had also promised things like, very impressive. We'll come back to you. You've got great ideas. We need to see how to move it forward. So that language made us feel, oh, we've cracked it, more work coming to India and all of that. But suddenly it dawned on us that the entire team may not have a job in 3 months. I think that was very significant for me. Uh, Even now, when I think back, I have, chills down my spine. How did I stay calm? Because just thinking about it is making me nervous even now. Yeah, but I was pretty calm, and some things I said and did. I am proud of myself that I said and did those things. But it was all about what next. We can't change what has happened, but what next? What is the next best alternative? I think that is what my thinking was. How can I ensure that everybody on my team remains relevant, can get a job, um, or be able to do whatever they feel best that they can do? That was how did I respond?
So you did recognize the fact that there's no point in brooding and fretting over the situation. It is what it is.
Yeah,
It is time to do something else, to look for something else, to be better.
absolutely. Yeah.
And you were able to act upon it immediately.
Immediately, within a matter of an hour, we were like
Wow.
all into action.
Well, that's something to learn from. An hour, I mean, after hearing such a news and then also being able to, it's incredible.
Yeah, especially in current age, right? Every day you see it's like all these big
All this
organizations.
happening. Yeah,
Right, workforce reduction has become a big thing every day in the
very,
everyday news. And
very true.
yeah, thank you, Shanti, for sharing that.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I can go next. It so happened for a very long time, last 3 4 years, I was working in fully remote, and then suddenly it became a hybrid option. So for me, it was quite annoying and frustrating because I had gotten used to having my own routine, though I start work at the same hours, which I do now also, but just being at home and don't have to worry about carrying your lunch and getting dressed up and thinking what to wear and driving and all that. So all that had eased a lot of things. So suddenly getting into that mode was um, not an easy process, and I definitely felt very helpless. At one point I was like, should I look for a option where I would have a remote work? But then I sat and I said to myself, no, I'm not going to give up, let me try, because this is what is going to happen once again now that people are going coming out of COVID. And I have managed to turn it around at the moment. At least now I stay positive while I'm going to work, and I try to like ensure that one day in advance I think about what healthy food can I carry so that I don't have to like binge in at work, and also try to move like couple of times so that I'm not sitting consistently, and those kind of small things have helped me be steady and continue going to office.
Yes, so you realized that old beliefs can never lead to new outcomes. So you changed the way you thought
Right, yeah.
and you took action in that direction. That instead of focusing on what I cannot and constantly be thinking about it, let me change my belief, let me change my thought process, and let me do something that will make me better off.
Right.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah.
Actually, in COVID time, I lost my job. So that was a sudden shock to me. So I took a small break, and I now upgraded myself. And after some 5 months, I was able to get a job. So what I did, I was initially in a shock, and then whatever was not controllable, I left. What is controllable, I worked on it, and I was able to uh, get back to the normal routine. Yeah, thank you.
So would it, Ajish, be right to then say that the sooner you let go of your old cheese, the, s- the quicker you let go of your old cheese, the sooner you were able to find new cheese. The
Yeah, yeah,
quicker you let go of all the emotional upheaval associated with the loss of job, the sooner you were able to find another job.
yeah.
And were you in a better space then? And are you in a better space today?
Earlier, I was not in a better space. Now I'm in a better space.
That's wonderful. And could you throw some light? How did that transition happen, that transformation?
Yeah, like I was, I attended like morning meditation sessions. I was in, I changed my group, who will always encourage me. And luckily, through that, I got a lucky break. That's what I can say.
So, right. So you decided to change your ways, your routine, your habits,
Yeah,
so that you can lead to better results.
yeah,
Thank you so much, Ajish. It's very encouraging and something to learn from.
So, like when something familiar changes unexpectedly for me, so it takes time for me to come out from that comfort zone, and makes me like upset, and it takes time to change. But eventually, we have to change that thing, and we have to learn, and we have to adapt to the new one. So, for me, it is like it takes time, but I have to change, and I have to learn new things and try new one to move ahead.
Would you like to share a couple of examples if you feel comfortable?
So, like um, recently, I got married. So, like I was also before to that, I had an surgery. So, because of that, I have to leave my job, and then that marriage and all everything happened. So for that, not working for a couple of months and then getting a job was becoming a very difficult, because nowadays new skill sets are coming. So in that particular phase of time, I learned new things and tried to change myself, and this became like, yeah, I got to learn more new things and skills which developed me.
So,
So
yes, please go ahead.
no, so this is how I changed myself.
So, would it then be right to say that moving in the new direction helped you find new cheese,
Yeah,
upgrading yourself,
upgrading
accepting
myself.
the reality,
Yeah, that.
and being adaptable?
Yes.
Thank you. We'll move on to the next set of questions, which are what fears hold you back from adapting to change quickly? What beliefs or habits might be keeping you stuck in old ways? Now, fear could be stemming from fear of loss, fear of making a fool of yourself, fear of being judged, fear of failure. And what is that block that is stopping you from trying new ways?
Yeah, I can go first. Like the fear of failure is will that is like now like right now I'm working. I don't come from a business family, so to start a venture, na, that that belief that I don't come is holding me. So yeah,
To the belief that you don't have those resources.
yeah.
And we'll anyway address it in the next question. But do you think that taking small steps, taking calculated risks, and moving step by step would help you get rid of those thoughts?
Yeah.
And any patterns or habits that you have noticed in yourself that add on to this fear loop? Because if there's fear, there could be something that you could do about it to get rid of it also.
A fear of unknown,
Mm. The uncertainty,
uncertainty.
what will happen?
Yeah.
For me also, it is the fear of unknown.
Could you elaborate a little more?
I feel more comfortable fighting a known devil than an unknown devil. So if I don't know what to expect, I feel less prepared, less confident, less capable. So if I know what to expect, then however complex it is, I think I feel more courageous to, take it head on, but not if it is not familiar.
Would you like to give a particular context if you're comfortable sharing that?
Just thinking back at my same example, think what helped me stay calm is a couple of things, and that's where the known devil comes. uh, so anyways, I did have that lingering thought, I want to start something on my own. It was already there, but I think this gave me a push. So I knew even if I didn't get a job, it didn't matter. Might be it's that divine intervention telling me go get yourself into the entrepreneurial route. So I took it like that. So that helped me stay calm. um, an example where I did not know what to expect, and that really ruffled me, would be my dad landing in the hospital after playing table tennis, and it was absolutely jumpy and perky and everything fine, and the next hour, dad is in the hospital rush. That whole thing was so, and I didn't know how to react. I didn't know what to do. It wasn't. I felt helpless, incapable. That is not a good feeling.
And why do you think you felt you were fine in one situation, but in the other one you felt helpless? Because the stakes were high.
Yeah, the stakes were higher, but I somewhere knew I could do something with my career. It wasn't I didn't feel helpless. I felt confident about my skills, capabilities. So I didn't feel helpless. And though it was that thought, okay, what next? What can I do? What different? How do I get started? Those questions were there, but it wasn't that I don't know what to do. But when my dad landed in the hospital, it was like, I don't know what to do.
Yes, because in one aspect you had the experiences, the skill set, and you cannot be a doctor overnight.
Exactly.
And you want to protect your loved one. So, so how did you deal with that? How were you in those times?
Made frantic calls to everyone I knew, put in all the communities, in this hospital. Do you know, can you recommend a good doctor? Are we with a good doctor? Uh, it was like um, screaming for help.
But that is also the best that you could have done in that situation. That is
Thinking
your.
back, absolutely, but I still feel I could have done it in a more calm way. I think I was very rude and abrupt to others around me immediately. Um, eh, I would snap them, don't talk. too busy, can't you see? That language I had started using in that fret and anxiety.
We are all humans at the end of the day. Just have
But
to
that,
do.
that, that helped no one. In hindsight, they were all trying to help. They were trying to make a recommendation, suggestion, trying to help. But I think there was this lots of, you don't know, neither do I. So both of us are useless. That whole um, mindset wasn't helpful in that moment.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Shanti ma'am. Who else would like to go next?
Hi. So for me, fear of making mistakes that holds me back, and I'm like not ready to adapt to change quickly. So because I want to do everything perfect in my first try, so this is there like if I will try new things, will I do any kind of mistake? So that used to come to my mind every time. So for me, it takes time to adapt to change quickly. So, but eventually, my manager, Santi ma'am, I learned a lot from her. So she said like if we are not going to try new things, so we will not learn that thing. So from mistakes only we will learn. So anyway, like I try to change a little bit, taking new things and adapt that change. So I'm like going with that new change right now.
So again, you're trying to solve it by changing the way you think.
Yeah. Now I am thinking like how to change my thinking. Not like no, I will not. So everything can't be perfect in one shot. So it will take time, and it will take, if we are going to do that task like recording one, then it will change. So eventually I was having a fear like if I will do that one which I have never tried, so I can do mistake. I will not be perfect in one shot. So that change I am doing as of now.
Thank you for the chess, Mritu. Okay, we'll move to the next set of questions. And this is where we'll find solutions to all our problems, to all our thought process, to all our fear. And we individually are going to do it for ourselves. What would moving with the cheese look like in your current role or life? What small steps can you take today to be more proactive about change, about dealing with change? Could also rephrase it at what would moving with the cheese or your new cheese look like?
What would moving with the cheese or new cheese look like in your current? So that means like the new objective. What would be the new objective? Is that what we are trying to say?
Yes. We have listed our responses to change. A lot of fears emerged
Right.
that is holding us back from moving ahead. So, what is it that we could do differently that would take us forward?
Yeah, for me it would be not overthink, get into action, and probably be more clear and strategic about it, and think about what's holding me back, so that I can move forward and not like just end up thinking and not doing.
And how would you ensure that you're not overthinking or you have reduced the intensity and frequency of overthinking and you're inching closer towards action?
I will tell you an example, what I did recently that has helped. Like I already shared about the fitness, right? So earlier I used to be like very fixated about like the place where I'm going for the workout and who is going to be my trainer and all those things. And I mean, I am like quite very specific about it. But one thing I did was I just kept all those things aside, and I chose a workout place which is just like few minutes walk from my house. And because of that I'm able to like squeeze in some time either in the morning or in the evening after I come back. so I don't have an excuse of traffic and going again far. And so, and I've started small, though that instructor keeps bugging me that I should come every day. So I told him, don't bug me. I just want to, make it as a discipline to come 2 to 3 times a week. And after that, I promise that I'll be more regular, but just give me a couple of months so that like I'm making a habit of coming to the workout. So I've started doing that. So that has helped.
Yes, that is
Yeah, and also I think saying no, like say because these places they really like overpower you with telling you what we should be doing and what we should not be doing and all that. So I told him like I literally like I might sound very old. At the risk of sounding old, I'm saying it here. I told him, hey, I'm not that young and I know how it is with the fitness and I'm doing it for myself. So like just let me come and work out, and if I need any help I'll come to you. Just help me how I should be doing correctly. So that has helped.
so you just hit the bullseye. I need to exercise. The place, the trainer, the frequency doesn't matter. I just need to start getting into the rhythm and let me make it as easy as possible.
Right, yeah.
Wonderful and very doable. And I was the one who had shared about being complacent when it comes to fitness, so I'll take that from you.
Yeah, I mean, believe me, I have really like gone years just thinking about where I should be going for the workout. So I can relate to that.
Yes. I have a yoga mat and I have a room. I think spread it one day and just move a little.
Right. My mom tells me that you keep collecting everything for your workout, but you don't just do it. So, yeah,
Thank you. Thank you for that share, Sam.
yeah, welcome.
Next, who would like to go, please?
Yes, man. Like, first of all, figure out what will be the change and take small action, as you mentioned, and don't no, overthink uh, and take calculated risk. Uh, yeah, these are the things.
So when you say figure out change, are you trying to say that you'll be more alert and proactive in sensing if there's any change happening so that you act so that you
Yeah,
don't act after the change has happened and you're better prepared?
yeah. Like right now, I'm working. Suppose I want to start a venture. There will be problems. Anticipate, no, be prepared and be alert and no, take necessary action at that point of time.
Is there a particular problem that you are anticipating?
Yeah, there could be now many kinds of problem like the client can go off, there government approval. There could be a number of issues, but uh, no, take support at that point of time is what I'm thinking.
And support from?
From the like if there is a problem with the government regarding the approval, I should take help from people who can help me out to sort it out. That's
So are you trying to say not try to figure everything out by yourself, but also take help when required?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so moving with the cheese would mean to make that transition easy would mean to support your to surround yourself with support.
Yeah, yeah.
And what small steps can you take today?
Be in action mode, not to overthink. Just take small actions which can be taken today.
Any example that you can immediately say off the cuff that this is what I can do right away.
Yeah, like I'm working on a venture. I'm in the right groups who are also working on the same problem.
So you know what is happening and you know how is it that others are dealing with it, and it will also help you in foreseeing.
Yes.
of problems and solutions.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much.
So for me, I would be accepting the new responsibilities and staying open to new learnings and like adapting quickly the adapting quickly the changes what is going on. So this I can do, and then I can take a few steps towards like trying new approach, or else like responding in a positive manner, whatever situation it comes. Not like no, if I will take new, if new situation comes, to make it a perfect, I should make mistake. Like the negative thing, it should not come. So I will handle it in a positive way.
Could you be a little more specific? Because we are all human beings. We'll all have negative emotion reaction at some point, right? But when you say that you're trying to be positive, do you mean that irrespective of the reaction, I will change and reorient to see the more solid, brighter, positive side of it?
Yeah, I want to do that one because when the situation comes, I used to take it in a negative way. Previously, I was taking it in a negative way, like what will happen, how I will react, how I will do, how to, what things it will be perfect or not. So for that, so now I want to change it. Like no, don't take it in a negative way. Take it in a positive way and change it, adapt it, and change accordingly.
And also realize that you are a human being, so it's okay if I make some mistakes. I just have to ensure that the stakes are not very high when I make these mistakes.
Yeah.
Thank, thank you. Hi, Raja Lakshmi. So we'll shift to the last set of questions now, which are: how does your team or organization handle change? What can be done better? And what lessons from the story can you apply to your work environment?
Yeah, I can go.
Yes.
From my organization perspective, we all know that now how technology, every other day there is a new technology um, evolution is happening, and there is a pressure on everyone about learning these new technologies. And also, like we just spoke about, how every day we see this news about workforce reduction and so on. So, as a leadership team, what we have done proactively is we have formed a very robust learning program for our employees when it comes to technology, that they can upskill themselves and keep ahead, and be up to date with what's happening in the market, so that we are actually trying to elevate that risk and fear. And we are also having regular conversations with leaders as well as at the ground level, to say that how the technology advancement can help us and not be a negative factor. Instead, it would it would enhance our workforce productivity.
Truly acting like sniff, you're sniffing the AI change and preparing
Right,
accordingly.
right. Yeah.
And what lessons from the story can be applied to your work environment?
I think like how the first mice was able to what do you say, sniff the scarcity and move on to the and be prepared for the next uh, s- step of like getting the cheese and trying to find the resources. So that's what we are trying to do.
Sense change, keep a tap of what's happening, and then immediately come into action also.
Right, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam.
I, I can go next, ma'am. Like the first one, keep learning, keep updating yourself. Uh, if you're relevant, in the market, you can always survive. So be better than what I was yesterday. So that was the point number one. Point number two is like always take actions. No, we can't be now in a comfort zone. We should be very competitive and alert always. Uh, that is what I can say.
Smriti, Shanti, ma'am, either of you could go.
Yeah. So like in my organization or in my team, so we handle the change by communicating and by staying flexible and supporting each other. So from this lesson only, uh, I expect like we uh, in our work or environment we can expect change because every time it would not be the same thing, and we have to open for all the situation. We have to let go old ways. We have to adapt new method. So in this way.
Who leads a team or an organization, a few things that become important, starting from explaining to people why we are changing, why this change, why this move, why retrenchment, why layoffs, whatever the change be, why are we doing it? What is the positive intent behind the entire change? That communication requires to be there. Also, hand holding people through the change, not rushing it, being able to answer all the questions that they have, the doubts, the worries that they have, being able to help them in terms of skill, in terms of emotional support, um, is equally important. Um, for me, I'm a fast thinker, so I expect people to really, brace up real fast, but um, an understanding that everybody will change and evolve at their own pace is very key. I can't hurry up just because uh, I am comfortable hurrying up. Yeah. So that is becoming more and more obvious to me. Also celebrating once the change is all done, dusted. People are the new normal. People are in the new normal. Yeah, it's all they're not they the change is all behind them. I think that space, celebrating that and looking back and celebrating each other, saying how you supported me, how you helped me. All of these things become so important as organizations learn how to manage.
Thank you for that, Chair, ma'am. So, with this, we have come to the end of these set of questions. And I just like to ask you, how are you all feeling after this? Anyone, please feel free to answer this. Because what we have essentially done here is to briefly understand ourselves by understanding how we react to change, understanding our mindsets, our blockers. Then we have also moved towards making it actionable in terms of what can we do better so that we can lead ourselves forward.
Accept change and uh, and move ahead.
Anyone else? I'll leave you with these questions for some time so that probably there's more reflection and absorption that will happen. And we'll proceed now. So we had stopped at Haw having moved out of the maze, and he encountered several ups and downs. He is encountering rather several ups and downs. He has had moments of self-doubt, taken lots of wrong turns, yet we stopped at the point where I said but something kept him moving forward. He had certain realization that kept him moving forward. And by the way, he's still in the maze looking for some cheese. But let me just share with you. He had some realizations, and in the story, he wrote those realizations on the wall. And these realizations are essentially about A, acknowledgement that change is going to happen because that is the only constant. And B, more importantly, talks about how do we deal with that change so that that whole process becomes less stressful and we are able to enjoy more peace and success in our life and work. And a lot of the answers that you have given throughout this reflection exercise, you'll see all of that being covered in the next slide in terms of the realization that Ho had. So those realizations were: when you stop being afraid, you feel good. Imagining yourself enjoying your new cheese leads you to it. Here he is talking about visualization. Sometimes visualizing a better outcome also infuses us with energy to move ahead. And a lot of us pointed out old beliefs do not lead you to new cheese. Doing the same process and expecting different results will take us nowhere. And the quicker we are able to let go of old cheese, our old beliefs, our old definition of cheese, our old ways of thinking, our old ways of being, the sooner we'll be able to find new cheese. It is safer to search in the maze than remain in a cheeseless situation, which means, like Ajit spoke about, about getting a job after 5 months. He did not stop at having lost his job during COVID. He kept at it. He would have applied, he would have spoken to his colleagues or his friends, but he kept at it because he realized that the situation that he's currently is in will serve him no good and there's probably something better. And today, by his own acknowledgement, he is in a much better situation and state. Smell the cheese often so you know when it is getting old, which means being alert of the changes happening. And Sam had talked about technological evolution and having programs designed around it so that we are, because that's the best we can do. We don't know what turn AI will take, but the only thing that we can control is equipping ourselves to use that. And that's the best we can do. And since we are sensing it, so it's time that we upgrade, we unlearn, relearn, learn. And then movement in a new direction helps you find new cheese. Being stuck at the same place will again take us nowhere. We have to step out in the maze again and keep trying different routes so that we are better off. Just a couple of questions. Do you think Haw found another cheese station where there was cheese?
Might be he took unusual paths. Yeah.
But did he find? Would your answer be a yes or a no? We are doing away with maybe
I
right
think
now.
it should be it.
Okay, we have a yes.
Yes.
Ajish, what would be your guess?
Yes.
Okay. Shanti ma'am is not allowed to answer. Smriti, what would be your guess?
Might be yes.
Okay.
We are a very hopeful bunch.
Yes, the one that does not need to read any book. Because the answer is yes. Hod did join Sniff and Scurry at Cheese Station N. The last question: did Hem ever attempt to look beyond Station C? Could he get himself to enter the maze again? Just take a guess.
I think we as human beings, I feel we all are very resilient. Otherwise, we would become extinct. So that's inbuilt in us. So I'm sure he would have done it at one point. I've not read the book, but
So we are just guessing. We are
yeah,
bringing the authors in us.
right.
Any more guesses?
I would say no.
Okay, and why would you say that?
I thought he's in a comfort position.
Smriti, what would be your guess?
Might be yes at certain point of time. After certain point of time.
Do you want to know what the answer is?
Yes.
Come on, unmute yourself and let me know.
Yes, we want to.
So the answer is we don't know. The author has not mentioned that in the book.
So maybe we can say maybe.
What did you say?
I'm saying maybe, we can say maybe.
Well, if he did, then good for him because he was growing old and famished. But if he didn't, if he was rigid, just not willing to change, then we know what happens with people like those. Then these are people who are very rigid, are often like those stiff trees in the forest, they, which are just not willing to bend with the wind, not flexible, not adaptable. And interestingly, these are the kind of trees that get cracked first and cut first when there are storms in the forest. Well, and if he chose to be like a bamboo, chose to be flexible, then he would be better off today. And with that, to conclude, I'd like to say that this book invites us to change, where C stands for change happens, accept that change. H, have awareness, anticipate change, and prepare for the cheese to move. Assess often, monitor change, smell the cheese often. Navigate quickly, adapt fast, let go of the old cheese. And most importantly, enjoy the journey, savor the adventure of new cheese. Are there any questions, anything that you would like to share, say, add on?
Yeah, I would like to say thank you. I think this is my first session that I've attended, and it's a good time spent on a Friday afternoon. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. It was an amazing session. Thank you.
Thank you.
You'll be sharing these slides with us?
We'll be putting up the recording on our YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah.
And before we conclude, one quick reminder that the discount on our programs are going to be valid just 15 minutes after this session. So in case you haven't,
Until 15 minutes after this session. They are valid right now.
so in case you haven't checked the link, please do so now and enroll in a program that aligns with you, that interests you.
The last slide also, our social media slide.
Yes.
People, we've got lots of stuff happening on our social media, including blogs, podcasts, videos on various topics around leadership and professional skills. So please do follow us and stay tuned to our upcoming announcements. Thank you.